4 days. That's right. There's only 4 days left. What happens in 4 days? Let's find out. In 4 days, Ford executives are going to have a scheduled event to announce a groundbreaking for their new generation of EVs. Additionally, what they tell us is that they're going to be producing EV batteries over in Michigan. This is really curious because yesterday, a $2.5 billion commitment out of 600 is going to Corning. Where? In Kentucky. So Kentucky for Apple, Kentucky for Michigan. Okay, next generation of affordable EVs. But additionally, Apple is also opening a academy in Detroit on August 19th. And specifically, what they talk about is that their supply chains, let me see if I can find it here, supply chains. In addition to in-person courses, Apple engineers are already consulting with American companies to help them drive productivity, efficiency, and quality in their supply chains. If we look to one company we talked about yesterday, or MP Materials, what is it doing? New all-time highs. It's just going higher more. Had earnings today, and it was up 5% today, 8% in after hours. It looks like it wants to go up. It could go up a lot more. And as we think about what that means for the S&P 500, we'll come back and look at that. But at a very high level, another higher low, another higher high, and into the close. When we got that announcement of the new Fed chair or the new Fed governor, boop, right? They rallied the market here. So nice little curl, and we'll come back and look at that a little bit later. So that's really it, right? The Model T moment. What's the Model T moment? Well, it's the next generation of what? Batteries and EVs. And ironically, Apple's going to have their iPhone Air and their iPhone Slim announced at WWDC. That's not going to be very far from now. That's in roughly a month. In terms of where we were versus where we are, we started the week off by being cautiously bearish. Where are we now? Well, if we look here to our dots, cautiously bullish on the weekly. We're probably going to have to wait for next week now because it is Thursday. So just at roughly the 2-minute mark, if now we look here to our weekly chart, we have an inside bar. So if we close here, I would say that we're at or near the high, but it's not perfect. I would prefer to actually see us close a little bit higher. What's important to note here is that this would actually be our second strongest close ever. Second strongest close ever on the weekly. Yep, ever. That's important. So we negated the red dot on the weekly. We got through a lot of data. We got through all of this stuff so far. Tomorrow, there is still a little bit left. And we can see that here by going down to our notes. So Eli Lilly, that stock was down. BOE decision is over. 30-year auction, who cares? Tariffs took effect. We already got the new governor. And I just gave you an update on this. Actually, did I give you an update on that? Sorry, now the prediction markets, which have been very accurate, are calling for Chris Waller. This is the guy who dissented and said, I don't know if I agree with Jerome Powell. And this is the new Fed nominee. Look at this guy. He can walk. He's not chewing gum, but he can carry a glass of water, and he's holding a pen. So he can walk, hold water, and hold a pen. That's the guy for the job. He should probably be the Fed chair over Chris Waller. So he's seasonally qualified, nominated by Trump, but this is probably the guy for the job, right? Look at him. He's got glasses. He's got a water. He's got a pen. That's the guy. All right, moving forward. Tesla disbands Dojo supercomputer team in a blow to their AI effort. I think there's going to be a really big semiconductor update shortly. And it's also curious that Trump is trying to get rid of the Intel CEO, the only company that's made a huge investment in America. So yesterday, Trump said that if you're building in America or plan to build, no tariffs. Well, Intel invested $20 billion, and they are going to be necessary if there's actually going to be chip production in the U.S. So I think Trump is really giving us his hand here by showing us who he's focusing on. He's also focusing on the fact that he's open to meeting with Putin, even if Zelensky is not there. So we got through all this news. The slate is clean, and going into tomorrow, there's not very much to focus on. We got technicals. So let's make today's video really simple because going into this week, I left you with a note. Let me see what that note was. Right now, we want to get above 640 to make it easier to continue to go higher. In terms of what really matters, is there really much to go through? Let's look at a few quick charts here. I'm just going to quickly scan across. Gold. Yeah, look at gold, record close. So people continue to be skeptical of central banks and can't really blame them. The 10-year note's pretty curious here because we're still at roughly 4.2, 4.3. I'd really like to see the slide part here. So the W is supposed to lead to a decline, but we got to lose both the averages, both the 50 and 200. So 50, 200, we got the 50, we lost it. We got to lose the 200 too. Otherwise, rates are probably going to stay sticky for a while. but the market's already pricing in a few cuts, and we're only down to 4.2. It's not really all that encouraging. Looking forward to a few more things. Ether is really having a moment here. I'm really curious to see if it's going to actually break out here. It's up by 11% on the week, and that is in my way. Let's hide that up over here. There we go. What else is really notable here is going to be just what's really moving. So we got SMH set for a record weekly close. If we close green again tomorrow, XLG record weekly close. RSPT, this is equal weight technology, so having a little bit of a breather here. Basically flat on the week. Equal weight S&P, that's an inverted hammer. So we can see that we opened up, we pushed up, we sold off. It's an inverted hammer if you zoom in closely. So if you know what a hammer looks like, just turn it upside down, and that's what today should look like. Here we go. A little hammer there, right? You got your handle, you got your hammer. There we go, hammer time. Looking at the Dow, same thing, inverted hammer. And then the Russell, this one actually looks okay. So I'm going to keep today's video a little bit shorter. Watch the video on the left or come hang out with me tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. for more details. Thanks so much.